Once upon a time in the heart of Africa, there was a kingdom so wealthy that even the birds sang of its prosperity. This kingdom was ruled by King Dondo, a wise and just leader, known far and wide for his courage and wisdom. However, the king had one great problem: his three daughters, the princesses, were foolish beyond measure. Despite their beauty, grace, and royal upbringing, their foolishness was legendary, and it brought much laughter, and sometimes tears, to the kingdom. The three princesses were named Ao, Zuri, and Kemi. Each of them had their own brand of foolishness that never failed to astonish the people of the land. Ao's wish for eternal youth. Ao, the eldest, was obsessed with staying young forever. She believed that if she drank enough water from the kingdom's river, it would freeze time and keep her beautiful forever. Every morning, without fail, she would gather all the jugs in the palace, fill them with river water, and drink. Day by day, she became bloated from all the water she drank, but she was convinced that it was working. One day, while she was about to take her 50th jug, the village healer, Mama Ai, passed by. "Princess Ao, why do you drink so much water?" she asked, concerned. "To stay young forever, of course." Ao replied proudly. Mama Ai shook her head and laughed. "Oh, my dear child, you don't need a river to stay young. Wisdom keeps the soul young, not water." But Ao was undeterred. What does she know? She thought. I'll be youthful forever. Zuri's quest for the moon. Zuri, the second princess, was a dreamer. One night, she gazed at the moon and decided that she would bring it down to the palace. "Imagine having the moon as a lamp in my room," she thought. "I could read books all night long." Determined, she ordered the royal carpenters to build her a ladder tall enough to reach the sky. The carpenters, though baffled, knew better than to refuse the princess's orders. They built the tallest ladder in all the land. Zuri, in her naivety, climbed to the top, stretched her arms toward the moon, but, of course, she could not reach it. Just then, a passing bird perched beside her and squawked, "What are you doing, princess?" "I'm bringing the moon to my room," she announced. The bird laughed so hard it nearly fell off the ladder. "Silly princess. The moon doesn't belong to you. It's here for all of us to share. If you keep the moon to yourself, who will light the night for the rest of us?" Realizing her folly, Zuri descended, feeling a little embarrassed, but also wiser. Still, she never quite let go of the dream of one day holding the moon in her hands. Kemi in the invisible clothes. Kemi, the youngest, was convinced she was the smartest of all her sisters. One day, she met a traveler who claimed to have the finest cloth in the world, so fine, in fact, that only the wisest people could see it. Kemi, wanting to show off her wisdom, immediately ordered a dress to be made from this magical cloth. When the traveler presented her with nothing but air, Kemi gasped. "It's beautiful," she exclaimed, though she saw nothing. She pranced around the palace wearing her invisible dress, believing that everyone who couldn't see it must be foolish. During the royal banquet that evening, Kemi proudly walked in, believing all eyes were on her stunning dress. The entire court tried to stifle their laughter, and even King Dondo buried his face in his hands. Finally, a little boy in the crowd shouted, "Why is Princess Kemi dancing around in her underwear?" At that, the entire hall erupted in laughter, and Kemi's cheeks burned red. She realized she had been tricked, but she also learned a valuable lesson about vanity and gullibility. The king's wisdom. King Dondo loved his daughters dearly, but he knew that their foolishness was becoming the talk of the land. One day, he called them to the royal garden and said, "My dear daughters, you are all beautiful in your own way, but beauty and wealth mean nothing without wisdom. Ao, no river will make you immortal. Zuri, the moon is for everyone to enjoy. And Kemi, true wisdom doesn't come from wearing invisible clothes." The three princesses, with humbled hearts, knelt before their father, realizing the truth in his words. From that day forward, Ao drank less water, Zuri gazed at the moon with a newfound appreciation, and Kemi no longer cared for invisible clothes. They grew wiser, and the kingdom loved them all the more for their quirks. And so, while they were still a little foolish, the princesses brought laughter, joy, and lessons to the kingdom, reminding everyone that even the foolish have something to teach.